Hello all. In this particular video, I am actually going to share my experiential insights pertaining to how to handle strategic transformations in IT. Okay, so if you actually go through one of my LinkedIn article, right, I have actually mentioned over there some of the thoughts pertaining to my experiential insights, how to handle a strategic transformation in the IT landscape. Now, okay, let me actually get into the basics of it before I actually go into the crux of this particular video. Many people ask me, okay, Balaji, I actually understand the word strategic transformation from a English point of view, but then can you tell me some kind of a real-time example for a strategic transformation? Now, see, if you think practically, right, why are you actually doing an agile transformation? Why are you actually doing some kind of a digital transformation? Because you actually envisage that by doing an agile transformation or by doing a digital transformation, some kind of a business benefit it is going to bring it to your customers or clients, right? Or to your organization. So if you properly understood why am I doing a digital transformation, then your digital transformation itself is an excellent example for a strategic transformation in IT. Okay, now some of the real-time examples which actually come to my mind based on my previous experiences. If you are actually doing some kind of a cloud migration activity, right, moving from on-premise infrastructure to some kind of a cloud-based solution, be it an Azure or be it be it an AWS or be it a kind of a Google Cloud platform. Fundamentally, we are trying to do a cloud migration to enhance the flexibility, to improve the cost effectiveness, and also to improve the scalability aspect, right? So your cloud like your cloud migration itself can be taken as a one of the example for a strategic transformation in IT. Now, if I wanted to give few other examples, right, probably agile transformation and like embarking on the DevOps implementation, digital workspace implementation, data like your data analytics combined with the business intelligence, your cyber security enhancements, right? Because nowadays, right, the security testing has actually taken altogether a different dimension as part of the non-functional requirements. So your cyber security enhancements, and then some of the examples from the robotic process automation, Internet of Things integration, blockchain implementation, and importantly, the artificial the artificial intelligence and the impact of machine learning algorithms. All these real-time examples can be taken as a perfect match for a strategic transformation in IT, provided you understand the vision of your transformation. Okay, why am I doing certain things? And then, most importantly, what is the goal of this particular transformation, and how come this particular goal of the transformation is actually going to support the organization vision statement, organization mission, like vision and mission. So typically what we used to do, right, if you're taking some frameworks like SAFe framework, right, and if you take my own customized agile framework, we have something like a strategic theme, or we have something like a investment theme, which is going to connect the portfolio vision to the overall enterprise vision, right? So for example, right, even if you go to HCL, like no HCL web page, and there you can see something called as a mod 123, right? Wherein, so this mod 123 has a significance behind it. So like you can just make a Google search and then get to know what do you mean by mode 123 plus HCL. You can actually get to know the information. All that I am trying to say is your own agile transformation, your own safe transformation, your own digital transformation is a perfect example for a strategic transformation in IT. Unfortunately, project managers, scrum masters, RTEs, agile coaches are not kept informed about how are you connecting your transformation to the overall organization landscape, right? So the moment you understand that particular thing, I think all these examples can be taken as a strategic transformation. Okay, now Here, what am I going to do in this particular video is I am actually going to go through one of the article what I have written in the past, right? So as part of the interaction with the board of directors, or as part of the interaction with the CXO group of the organization, as a C-suite advisor or as a strategic advisor to the board, I wanted to share some kind of my thoughts and my experience in this particular video, so as to add value to the larger audience. Okay, now let us go one by one. Now, let's say even if you are playing a role of an enterprise agile coach, or if you are playing a role of some kind of a strategic transformation consultant who has been called inside the organization or that particular engagement, so as to bring in a outside in approach, right? Now, whenever you are trying to do a whenever you are actually trying to do a strategic transformation, what are all the inputs which we need to consider, right? If you think practically, right? First of all, you need to be very cognizant about the market analysis, right? Because everything begins with a market analysis, which is the core concept of a business agility. Always be in sync, always be in rhythm of the ever-changing market dynamics, right? So one of the input to a strategic transformation could be, what is the market analysis? What is the industry trends? What are all the customer needs? And how does the competitive landscape, right? How does the competitive landscape typically look like? So those kind of preliminary details you may need to have. The second thing is on the assessment of the technology, right? So while I am making this particular video, I am actually referring to some of the pointers. What is that I got written in my own LinkedIn article? Okay, just to set the context. Okay, I'm actually referring to my own LinkedIn article, whose link will be shared in the description, or in the comment section of this particular video when I actually upload it on the YouTube. Okay, now just to stay focused from my end, the input to the strategic transformation may typically include, like, fundamentally, one is on the market analysis, second thing is on the technology assessment, right? So if I'm working for a client, I need to be very clear about, okay, how does the technology landscape look like? How am I going to evaluate the current infrastructure of the IT? What are all the systems and capabilities what they have from a technology maturity level? And the third input which I typically try to look into is the organizational assessment from a more from a agility point of view, right? Uh, like, typically embracing the adaptability. So analyzing the current structure, analyzing the current skills and capabilities. How does the organization culture look like? See, in one of my previous uh, engagements in the past, we have went up to the extent of creating a custom model to do a cultural transformation itself as part of the phase 2, or as part of the phase 3, or also called as the wave 3 of that particular agile transformation. So market analysis, technology assessment, your organizational assessment in terms of analyzing the current structure, the skills and the cultural aspects are a dimension. The fourth thing is, okay, what is the objective of this particular strategic transformation in the first place? Do I have a smart goal, right? So that particular thing also need to be very clear, and then followed by, how am I going to engage my stakeholders, right? So who are all the key people? How am I going to engage them, including the leadership, the employees, the clients, customers, vendors, suppliers, and the business partners? See, in this video, uh, which is on a social media platform, I can only give the uh, tip of the iceberg, because the subject of strategic transformation is a ocean. Even if you read for 6 months, what we know is only a drop in the ocean. So in this particular video, I'm just trying to give you, okay, what are all the 7 colors of the rainbow? You may need to think through, you may need to apply your thought process, and then try to take the best out of the video based on your own context, right? Okay, now we have actually covered the inputs to the strategic transformation. Now let us actually discuss now, Okay, during a strategic transformation, what are all the several activities which typically come? Okay, first of all, you need to be very clear on the vision statement, right? So, refining the organization's long term vision and also the strategy to address new opportunities and the challenges. Second is process optimization, streamlining the workflow, eliminating the redundancy, and also trying to adopt some kind of a best practices to improve both efficiency and the effectiveness. Now, the third point is on the more on the technology adoption. For example, can I implement a new technology, or can I make use of, can I leverage a new platform so that I can modernize my IT infrastructure and try to enhance the capabilities? Fourth point is a cultural change. How am I going to foster a culture of innovation, collaboration, agility to support the transformation? Then the important point is, can I think about organizational restructuring? See, process agility, technical agility also need to be harmoniously combined, or rather dovetailed, or no resonating with the structural agility, right? Only with technical agility, only with process agility, you cannot scale up your scaling, you cannot scale up your level of agile maturity beyond a certain level. And for you to sustain, it's not possible without doing an organization change management, which I have spoken in my umpteen videos, right? I generally tell people, prepare the soil and then sow the seed. Preparing the soil is organization change management. Sowing the seed is your agile transformation, digital transformation, uh, or a business transformation. Now, some kind of an organizational restructuring also need to be factored, wherein I will try to adjust the roles and responsibilities and some kind of a reporting structure within the organization so that I can align with this strategic objective. Now, let me tell a practical scenario, right? For one of my client, we had a silo mentality between the engineering team and the product team. The product team consists of a group of a business analyst and a product owner and a product manager. These guys were actually reporting to the product management group, and these guys, the engineering people, were reporting to the uh, engineering manager. Now, with this state of mentality, it is very different. It is very difficult for me to do kind of a dynamic budgeting or funding the value stream, because my single value stream is going to encapsulate, or rather encompass, the activities both from the product management group and also from the development team, and the value stream is going to cut across multiple applications in their landscape, and the application owners are different guys. So what we did, we have introduced a role called the value stream lead, VSL, value stream lead. And these guys from the product management group and engineering manager group has been parented to this particular value stream lead. So all that I was trying to say is, only with the technical agility and only with process agility, you cannot do a sustainable enterprise level transformation or a strategic transformation. You still need to back it up with your organizational restructuring processes, which is also called as a structural agility, then followed by your change management, right? So for many of my clients in the past, right, I literally create a OCM playbook, right, organization change management playbook, as a prerequisite or as a precursor activity to positioning my strategic transformation in a much more better manner, right? Okay, and by the way, all these concepts are covered hands-on in my Agile Mentorship Program, AMP. If anyone is interested to know in a very detailed manner, probably you can ping me on my WhatsApp number, which I will share in the description or in the comment section of this particular video. Okay, now in this video, which is going live on a social media platform, I can only introduce you to the parent nodes of the tree, right? I can only introduce you to the chapters of the book. This video is like a index page to the book called Strategic Transformations in IT. If you are really interested, if you are really committed to know the chapters one by one, then probably you may need to connect with me. In this video, I'm just going to cover, okay guys, if you are going to think about a strategic transformation in an IT landscape, Probably these are all the 10 things which you need to keep in mind. Now, what will go inside the 10 things? That things comes from the context. Okay. Now, before I continue, right? Before I continue with this video and then keep rolling the ball, I just need to give you some other important tips for your uh, interview also, because I am in the interview panel for more than somewhere more than 9 years now for multiple job roles in Agile. Okay, be it a Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, RTE, Agile Coach, Enterprise Agile Coach, Product Owner, Product Manager, Project Manager, Program Manager, Portfolio Manager, Delivery Manager, Change Agents. These are all the roles which I typically interview as an interview panel member. Now, many candidates have the habit to answer in interviews saying, if I try to ask any kind of a situation question, the candidate says a blunt answer, it all depends on the context. My say is it's absolute no. You need to tell it all depends on the context based on what parameters A, B, C, D, E, X, Y, Z. Even because interviewer knows it all depends on the context. That is not an answer to the question. You need to tell it all depends on the context based on the values to these particular variables 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't even know the variables to capture, how are you going to run the transformation? Context will give you the value to the variable, but not the variables itself, right? So prepare better, or rather speak to a coach or a mentor who has already done it hands-on. Okay, watching an YouTube video, going through the pages in the google.com, downloading a white paper and a thought paper, all these things are perfectly fine to begin the journey. But attending a webinar with someone who had done it hands-on, taking up mentoring and coaching with some person who had done these things hands-on, all these things will take your capability to the next level, right? If you are really committed to improve your career trajectory. All right, now we have spoken about the input. Now we have also spoken about the overall processes involved in a strategic transformation. Now we need to think about, okay, what could be the envisaged output, or rather what could be the envisaged outcomes, right, as part of this particular strategic agile transformation in the IT. Now you think practically, right? When I do a strategic transformation, what should be the output? Definitely, there should be an improvement or an increase in the operational efficiency, so that there is a result in the cost savings, and also there is a faster time to market. Second thing is the enhanced customer experience, right? Then some kind of a capability to build innovative products and services, and some kind of a market leadership as part of a positioning my go-to-market strategy, which we call as a GTM, and some kind of a better organizational agility, so that there is a greater flexibility and also responsiveness to changing market dynamics and the emerging patterns in the industry, right? So if you take a real-time example, right? So for one of the strategic transformation could be transition of a software development company from a traditional mindset to a cloud native organization, right? So in this scenario, what is going to happen? So people who are watching this particular video, right, why don't you pause it here? Just pause the video. Do not continue with the video. Just pause the video. Go and take a paper, pen, or something. Do some kind of a thinking process. Put your thoughts, and then come back and then continue the video to see how far you are actually closer to the thoughts which I resonate, reverberate in this particular video. Right now, the question is, can you take a real-time example of a strategic transformation in IT, which could be the transition of a software development company which was having the traditional mindset to a cloud native, cloud native organization? Now, okay, now just to take a pause here, I do believe people had paused the video and then did some kind of a homework and then came back, and you can still now continue with the video. Now, what's going to happen? Typically, this should involve some kind of a migrating the legacy application to the cloud, right? and adopting a DevOps practices for your continuous integration in your delivery, and that cultural mindset, that the culture of the organization itself should evolve in terms of the experimentation and the rapid iteration, right? Because these are all the fundamental traits of agile also, right? Iteratively, incrementally, factoring the feedback loop, uh, eliminating the waste or at least minimizing the waste to the best possible extent, aligning to client centric business outcomes, having the mindset of continuous learning and growth mindset. These are all the typical traits of agile. Whether you follow Scrum, Kanban, DevOps, Safe, Nexus, Spotify, DAD, less, huge, whatever be the framework, if these traits are not there, you are not doing agile. Forget about being agile. You are not even doing agile. However, even if you don't follow Scrum, Kanban, Nexus, less DAD, Spotify, less huge, if you still come up with your own customized framework wherein this 6 to 7 points what I told is there, you are indeed agile, right? Uh, based upon my practical experience. Okay, now what are all the things we need to keep in mind here? Actually speaking, the relationship between agile, digital, and the business transformations are all interconnected, right? Because your agile transformation is going to focus on empowering the teams to deliver value iteratively and incrementally, whereas your digital transformation is going to involve the leveraging the digital technologies to drive innovation. It could be improving the customer experience, creating a new business model, which is often a subset or driver of the strategic transformation. And your business transformation is going to encompass the broader changes to the organization strategy, operation, culture, all those things. See, some people tell me this looks nice, but how to get it done hands on? But then believe me, in a YouTube video like this, I can only share the experience through words, right? I, I, I cannot draw some, like, no, I cannot do something and then demonstrate whether I have this capability to do all these things. If you are really serious and if you are really committed to know better, nothing stops you from approaching me, right? So ping me on WhatsApp, block my time, because generally I do not take any ad hoc calls or random calls, just to stay productive for that day. So you ping me on WhatsApp, fix a time with me for some 15 to 20 minutes, and then we can get into a one-on-one conversation. There I will be more than happy to share my experience with you, right? Okay, so these are all the concepts on a high level, and we also talked about the organization change management. Now, before I wrap up that particular video, right, some more concepts I like to share with you. Now, as a C-suite advisor or as a strategic advisor to the board, what are all the touch points where I need to be, really doing good? One is providing the strategic guidance. Second is how am I going to engage my stakeholders? How am I going to manage the risk? How am I going to monitor the performance in that particular landscape? How am I going to effectively bringing the process of change leadership, resource allocation, governance and oversight? Now, one more thing is whether you take a OKR approach or whether you take a GQM, goal question metrics, you need to be aware about certain important parameters, right? For example, let's say the objective or the goal is to drive organizational agility and innovation. Then probably one of the key result area could be increase the percentage of projects using agile methodology by 15 percentage within some stipulated timeline, or reduce the time to market for new products by 10 percentage, or launch 5 number of new innovative solutions. So at a strategic transformation level, one need to be really good in OKR, KRAs, and the KPIs. So, what could be the KPIs? Agile adoption rate, time to market metrics, innovation pipeline metrics. How am I going to improve my customer experience and the satisfaction? What is the NPS value, net promoter score? And how am I going to reduce the customer support tickets by Y percentage? How am I going to increase the customer retention rate by set percentage? Okay. By the by, I'm just giving you examples as Y percentage and the Z percentage. These will be the numbers which we typically discuss in our quarterly business review meetings, which we typically discuss in our EBR meetings, executive business review meetings. And sometimes we also take up the risk in the ERR meetings, enterprise risk review meetings. So that's why I generally tell there should be an agile expert in the leadership team. If not, there is going to be a disconnect between your leadership team and the agile groups, right? So these are all the points which you need to keep in mind. Now, few more objectives are, how am I going to optimize the operational efficiency and the cost? Okay, how am I going to achieve 15 percentage reduction in the IT infrastructure cost? How am I going to improve the process efficiency by Y percentage and reduce the time and the other manual task activities by Z percentage? So if you see in my entire conversation, right, had I talked about Scrum, Kanban, less huge, Dad, Nexus, Spotify, Safe? No, of course, I'm just using the terms now. I am more focused on the outcomes. Whether you use Scrum or whether you use Kanban or DevOps, your leadership team is not bothered about this, right? Because outcomes matter, right? So it is up to you to design. You build a Scrum team or a Kanban team, or you go for your scaled agile implementation, or you create your own customized framework, or you take the best practices from Scrum, Nexus, DAT, Spotify. There are so many frameworks. Okay, market is flooded with A to Z frameworks. Like you have A to Z certifications. But what matters? Fitness for purpose. Fitness for purpose matters. Don't take the context. Don't take the framework. Force fit. No, try to crunch the framework to force fit the context. No, no, no. Take the context. Understand the context. Then build a framework which will suit the context. Now, to build a framework, you still need a basic knowledge of all the existing frameworks. So you need to begin the journey with Scrum Kanban. There is no second thought to it. But holding on to Scrum Kanban without having clarity on the business outcome, believe me, it will make sure that your salary is not getting increased beyond 35 lakhs per annum. If I want to give a correlation in terms of Indian currency, people who talk only Scrum, Kanban, less DAT, Spotify, Nexus, Safe, their salary will not cross more than 40 lakhs per annum for 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 sure, right? If you want to touch the salaries of 70 lakhs per annum, 80 lakhs per annum, then there should be a change in our thinking process, because life is just a manifestation of our thoughts. If I keep on talking only about burn down chart and the burn up charts, then in my life also I will be doing only burn down and burn up charts. Because if something is not there in my vocabulary, then how it is going to manifest in the life, right? So now we need to start thinking about the business outcomes, and that's why I'm preparing this particular video to actually add value to the agile community as a whole, right? So these are all the things which you need to keep in mind. Now, just to give a closure to the video, remember that a strategy is not a plan, because a plan is more about predicting the future, mapping it to the timelines. That's it. Means, okay, Balaji need to go to Singapore on this particular date. Okay, so what am I doing here? I am taking that activity or the event, which is of a futuristic, of course, mapping it to the timeline. That is called a plan. Whereas strategy is more about creating the future for you. There is a difference between a guy who is sitting and predicting the future, and there is a difference between a guy who is really working on a daily basis to create a future for him or her. Okay, by the by. Now, strategy is more on the agility aspect. In a strategy, the degree of agility will be very high. Whereas, in the plan will not actually, plan is more on achieve this by this particular timeline. That's why even if you go back to the Agile Manifesto, responding to change over following a plan, while there is a value on the right, the value on the left is more than the value on the right. So Agile Manifesto and the Agile principles can be applied in n number of no places. It's not that only for our office work from a Monday to Friday, right? Okay, so I hope in this particular video I just covered on a high level to help you people to understand. Okay, I have a monitor here by the side, and my laptop has been connected to that monitor. Okay, that's why I actually tend to refer to there also. Okay, so what I actually thought is, in this particular video, hope I made some amount of justice to add value to you people by understanding what do you mean by a strategic transformation in IT. Now, with this particular example, with this particular knowledge, what you got in this particular video, now you go to your google.com, your chat GPT, and then you read more on the strategic transformation. So going forward, whenever you hear the word strategic transformation, don't think that it is something very different. Your own agile transformation, your own DevOps adoption, your own cloud migration, your own artificial intelligence implementation, and your hybrid infrastructure, all these things can be treated as a strategic transformation, provided you are very cognizant about why am I doing this in the first place, how it is going to help the client, how it is going to help the overall organization, OKR, KRAs, and most importantly, what is the relevance of this particular initiative in the current IT market scenario. Because business agility is one of the key ingredient of a strategic transformation. So by if you do all this homework and now you read your materials and then you go to the next level, the foundations or fundamentals are very strong, because there's no point in keep on building not the top floors whenever the foundation is very weak, right? So first solidify the foundations. Okay, now people who are interested to have more collaboration or connect with me, probably you can ping me on WhatsApp. I will set up some time with you, and hope to see you in some other videos no soon. And when I'm going to upload this particular video, I'm also going to make sure that somewhere in the comment section or somewhere in the description section, I am actually going to put the LinkedIn article links of my own LinkedIn article links pertaining to the strategic transformation. So my suggestion is that open that particular LinkedIn article, keep it by the side, go through the LinkedIn article, and then try to juxtapose that particular learning with the YouTube video, whatever you are watching now. Okay. Okay. So hope to see you in some other video, and cheers. Bye.